This has been a collaboration that has been wanted by a lot of different people, especially, Canadians, people that grew up listening to that classic OVO sound. But I have to tell you this, as a fellow Canadian and someone that's been following Drake's career closely for a long time, someone that's been interested in Party's catalog for a long time, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm heavily disappointed with this.
Yeah, this is
Yikes.
definitely Drake's worst album yet, and I went into this with pretty low expectations, to be
What?
honest, just because the
I ain't gonna lie, I wouldn't expect them to say that it was his worst.
snippets weren't really hitting for me, and I was
'Cause
scared
they
that
Drake fans.
the sound of the album might have been dated and it might have just really been sort of reliving the nostalgia of the songs they were making 10 years ago, which was that Toronto dark moody R&B and not really add anything new to it. But this was even worse than that. And I think that it boils down
Wow.
to a couple of things, but the main part of it all is that it feels like there was just a lack of effort, bro. It feels like for like at least the first 13, 14 tracks that you're getting the same tempo, the same style of production where you're getting a couple of like keys with a very moody vocal sample and the same BPM running throughout. And you're getting these long overextended melodies from Drake and P&D and
Yeah.
the most shocking thing to me about this album is that there are really no redeemable qualities for me.
I'm gonna be honest with you,
Bro.
I did have somewhat of an expectation for this because Party Next Door is an R&B artist that I respect, that I really enjoy his catalog. Going back to the old P&D series, I visit quite frequently, and even someone like Drake, right? Like regardless of what happened last year, I was like, okay, you know what, new year. Let's get into some new music, like let's see what he has. And to be quite
Right,
honest with
right.
you, like you said, it felt kind of flat throughout the entire track list. And that's a problem considering that this track list is 21 songs. It's an hour and 14 minutes. I mean, you could go into this and you could treat it like a playlist, like grab what you like, but as a full album
That's what I
experience,
did.
it's absolutely lackluster. When I'm getting songs like Meet Your Padre, where I'm kind of in the middle of like, is this parody or not, with Drake doing the Spanish accents, I just don't know what to say anymore.
It's very sleepy, bro. I'm sorry. The vocal performances on here are not very dynamic. They're not really passionate whatsoever. And I feel like the hooks also get repetitive very quickly. And when it comes down to the writing of this album,
Oh my
that's
goodness.
another major flaw. Looking at a song like Spider-Man, Superman, and
Yeah, I
like Drake
thought that too.
singing about how he thought a girl thought that he could save her as if he was a superhero. It's really mind-boggling. One big highlight that we should talk about, "Give Me a Hug," was one
Hey,
track
look,
that
now, Give Me a Hug. I felt like Give Me a Hug was a track that they probably recorded that was new because he addressed a lot of like the old beef situation and Kendrick Lamar. That's literally probably the standout track from this project. And, rightfully so because of the stuff he was saying. And
really stood out because you had more of a serious approach rapping performance
But
from
even
Drake.
at that, like you want to go to a rapping performance like that, right? Something that has a bit more energy, something that's supposed to be this uplifter for the track list. It felt kind of directionless, to be quite honest with you. The
Yeah, 'cause
writing
it
was
was a new
lackluster.
track.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously he talks about like people getting free promotion off of it and referencing the beef, whatever it is, and then boom, bro, you just go back to the regular strip club setting. And how about how he values his strippers and how like he knows them by their first name. We've gotten this before. I don't know how many different times I've gotten that type of setting or writing from Drake, and it's not to say that he can't do it in other ways that feel original or fresh for this track list, but he just didn't do it throughout this. Not only that, but
I do want to stay on the song for a second though, because it is him mentioning like the beef, which was a big narrative for this whole album, right? Like, is he gonna discuss it? Is he not? He said, "Fuck all the rap beef. I'm trying to get the party lit." This album doesn't do that, bro. This album in no way gets the party lit. He also raps that 21 Savage was the only person checking on him, and he says, "I've been a nice guy. People I've done right by flipped on me, but girl, it's all right. Not surprised by nothing. I just take it in stride. On the bright side, everyone on my side, they still got their love and they pride." It's interesting to see him take the perspective of like with the fighting Irish freestyle, now this of like just sounding a bit bitter and sounding like he wants to play the victim. It's just it's an odd direction, and
Yo, he's some good takes.
like
I
you
ain't
said,
gonna
it
lie.
feels pointless. It doesn't really add. Even like the Joe Budden this, it's like we've been here a million times before.
Yeah.
Why are we just going in circles topically?
Well, this felt like a track list where they were like, we could recapture a lot of hype, especially this being Drake and P&D. Let's put out something that's going to get the city turned. Obviously, speaking about Toronto, let's put out something that's going to be really cool for the diehard fans that have been following OVO sound for such a long time and people that have wanted this album. And you know what? Let's just put it out and see what happens. Like, I felt like that was kind of the approach with this album, where they're just throwing whatever, bro. Even at that, at a certain point, you're getting like 3 back-to-back Drizzy songs. At the same time, like,
It felt like Party just like dipped.
it felt like he dipped. He had nothing to do there. And then when he'd come in, he'd give you like these extended melodies and talk about how he's saucing your girl. I don't know what type of value you could grab out of this track list. If you want that type of party, bro, he just dropped like low-key a couple of months ago. Go back to PND4. Enjoy that. Why not?
And that's the thing,
You know?
too, is that, like, you go back to songs like Recognize and you go back to songs like Over Here. Like, they have quality in their catalog, and it just, the chemistry wasn't really working that well here, and I just feel like the production was flat, like I said earlier, and there's a lot of poor curation choices. Like you said, 3 Drake songs in a row. Even looking at a song like Glorious, where you're getting Drake imitating the flows of Ice Spice and Central C over a drill beat, you're like, what is this doing on this album?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Why is it here?
So just like the tour that he's on right now, the Anita Max Win tour that's in Australia, I felt like they put this album out because they just needed to do something. Up until this point, it's been over a year since we've got any new body of work from Drake. And of course, with the beef that he has with UMG, it's kind of hard for him to just drop a solo project. So he's going through his OVO sound imprint, which is through Sony. Party Next Door, you know, they're pretty much using Drake as a feature on that project. Now, I said in the video that I just did that they should have been done a collab. Why wait till now to do a collab album with Party Next Door? Party Next Door should have had a collab album around P2. But then again, this is Drake using the resources that he has around him to try to make stuff happen. Now, me personally, the album, I feel like how they feel pretty much. Not as harsh, because I do like 6 out of the 21 records on that project. I do like Give Me a Hug. I like hearing Drake rapping. I like CN Tower. I like the what's the one that he used? It's called Houston something. But there are some standouts on this project, but a 21 song project, it feels more so like, hey, here's 21 throwaway tracks with Party Next Door on it. We added a Drake verse, and y'all can choose which songs y'all like or not. Also, I saw people criticizing it because they're like, yo, haven't we heard this song before from Drake and Party Next Door? And yes, you have. And the thing about Drake that you got to understand, he knows that he's a brand. He knows that he's a business. He's going to continue to cater to the people that like that type of music. It's like McDonald's. You go to McDonald's for hamburgers, right? If you go to McDonald's one day and they serving fried chicken, you're going to be like, what the hell going on? Why is McDonald's serving fried chicken? McDonald's is going to serve what they know is going to sell. They're going to sell their cheap burgers. You feel me? Drake is the same way. I'm going to give you the same song over and over because I know it's going to sell. And like I recently reported on, this album is actually #1 on Apple Music in 72 countries. So it's selling, you know what I'm saying? People are eating it up, but is it music that's going to stick? I don't think so. Now, this new Drake album that's supposed to be coming in the future, that's the one you need to pay attention to. That's going to be the rap album that you really need to pay attention to, because that's going to really show if Drake is here to stay or if what Kendrick did was a permanent stain on his career. But yeah, man, it's the Kid Ríez. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all be safe, stay carefree, and I'll catch y'all later. Peace.